Seth Rollins might be able to hook that pedigree.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Like being run over by a truck. And there's a train coming. Braun Strowman clearing out everybody in his path.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. And right back at it, since you liked the first one so much, can someone please explain to me why all the wrestlers are looking so different right now? Can I please get an explanation? I literally started the last video, which obviously all of you have watched already, by justifying why a wrestler might not try changing it up too much, yet we're still managing to find an entire extra list's worth of folk with a freshened body image heading into the freshened decade. Right up there with your big shows, your Ronda Rouseys, and your mean Mark Calloway Undertakers. That sounds like a great stable. You've got this next crop of talent. I'm D Wicked from Watch WWE, and here's 5 more WWE wrestlers who underwent some serious body transforming. Number 5, Chris Jericho. Aren't I just the worst? Kicking off today's video will not be a WWE superstar, but instead one of the fine roster members from its new alternative, AEW. Although no WWE fan is going to see and just not recognize the name Chris Jericho. Y2J made an entire career out of reinventing his entire character. Basically every 4 to 5 years, Jericho would just hit the big fat reset button, wipe the slate clean, and start anew, only keeping his name and a few baseline bits of personality. We've had the Lion Maker, the Y2J incarnation, the best friend of Kevin Owens, but throughout almost all of Chris Jericho's career, his body pretty much looked the exact same. Not the hair, almost never the hair, but the body, the physique, usually pretty intact. That all changed when the wrestling business changed, as All Elite Wrestling hasn't just brought us a new wrestling show, it's also brought us a new Jericho incarnation. Easily the most different looking Jericho off a first glance, Chris has essentially just leaned fully into this dad bod territory he entered a couple years ago. He had a good bit there in his last WWE reign, but the dude is just, he's borderline fat nowadays. Not that it matters, he's obviously still working his off in the ring, and it's not like weight changes the fact he's one of the best characters and minds in all of wrestling. He just, you know, he really likes his Rockin' Rager booze cruises. What do you want from the man? He's almost 50.
Can't even get proper olives, can ya? What else we got?
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Want some bubbly? Look at this stuff.
Number 4, Goldberg. When Willie Goldberg strolled back into WWE's doors in October of 2016, I was at a near loss for my damn words at just how impressive that man looked. We've been doing these body transformation videos on occasion for a few years now, and I have never even considered the name Bill Goldberg, because he looked just as good, if not even slightly better in 2016 than he did in 1998. Switch the barely there hair for some grayer shades and you've got essentially a replica. However, ever since hitting 50, things do seem to be changing a bit for Billy. Goldberg still looks great, or at least did last time we saw him shirtless at SummerSlam 2019 when he murdered Dolph Ziggler not just once but thrice. He didn't look as good as he had, however, with his abs in particular losing a good bit of the definition that made him look just so impressive beforehand. With the next Saudi Super Show just days away at this point, will Bill be looking better than he did 8 months ago, or is this body transformation going to continue down the path that it started on?
They're going to put this away quick!
Turn Ziggler inside.
Number 3, John Cena. Despite being on the cover of a magazine literally called Muscles and Fitness, the secret final 2 words of his hustle, loyalty, respect mantra, by the way, John Cena seems to be losing it just a tad bit these days. While we haven't seen the big match Mania Man in the ring in quite some time now, pictures have been surfacing of this wrestling veteran looking a bit slimmed down to what we're accustomed to. Don't get it twisted, John Cena is still in shape. In fact, there's a whole lot of shapes going on to make that mass of a man possible. But it's just coming down ever so slightly. I should make it clear by this point in the list that Cena is the only person I've mentioned so far who is not going to end 2020 at or above the age of 50. And even then, John is currently a 42-year-old man. That's far from old, especially when it comes to fitness. That being said, being a Hollywood megastar while still occasionally doing the whole pro wrestling thing, plus 1, 2, maybe 600 Make-A-Wishes, give or take, as a side gig, it's not all that surprising that Cena seems to be taking a bit more to cardio than the bench these days.
Make it jelly.
Can't do that. Oh wait, lightning fist in the north, sorry.
Number 2, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman has one of the all-time single greatest glow-up years in professional wrestling, as his shift from 2016 to 2017 will probably go down as one of the most jarring changes we've ever seen one man go through. From an uncharismatic, piss-pants-wearing... Why am I worse when I talk slower? From an uncharismatic, piss-pants-wearing Wyatt family forgotten in the background nobody with absolutely nothing to offer inside of the squared circle, to one of the most over, entertaining, and most importantly, in shape, well-prepped wrestlers the roster had in 2017, Braun's history has proved that when he's not personally feeling up to snub, he has got motivation in dozens to shed those pounds. Ever since 2019, Braun must have been having some of those similar feelings about himself that he shared 3 years earlier, because he went on an absolute muscle tear. This one kind of crept up on me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been a little bit tapped out of my intrigue of Braun Strowman ever since they him up so badly. You guys remember 2017? Oh, those were good times. Too bad Roman versus Brock had to happen and Braun died for it. But now that I'm making these body transformation videos again and I gotta look in depth at all these roster members, holy Braun, what happened to you? Late last year, Strowman took to the Instagrams to give himself a well-deserved pat on the back publicly for just how damn shredded he had gotten. And yeah, 2017 Braun might have been an impressive step to take, especially from the garbage that was 2016, but that character is still leaps and bounds and a whole lot of muscles away from this 2020 upgrade. Oh, and that Instagram post included the hashtag the more you eat, which is objectively the best hashtag of all time.
There's a train coming. Braun Strowman clearing out everybody in his path.
Honorable mention. Welcome back, John Morrison. I can barely count Johnny for this kind of list because his body transforming really didn't happen recently at all. But he's only just come back to the WWE, so I guess I could only really start including him in these kind of lists now, and he does look at least a little bit better, I suppose. It's crazy to think that way back in 2011, everyone in wrestling just sort of simultaneously agreed that John Morrison was the definition of a cool-looking wrestler with the perfect look, because sweet Jesus, it is impressive what 3 years can do to a man. After leaving WWE and touring the indies for a few years, Morrison was born anew and stepped into Lucha Underground's temple as Johnny Mundo, and oh my god. Despite all the changes to his personality and character, which may be skewing this a little bit, Morrison had abs alright before, but Mundo had straight up black lines cutting clearly through his stomach, because there might have never been a more defined 8-pack in wrestling history.
If you're already in amazing shape, corner flow's a great way to get yourself to the next level. The thing with corner flow though is, Mac, you have to be able to fit through the ropes.
And number 1, Brock Lesnar. So, is it just me, or is Brock Lesnar porking it up a little bit? Like, I'd never want to openly disrespect a mountain with muscles and sentience in such a manner, especially, if you happen to know my location at the time. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I was watching that Royal Rumble. You can call me crazy, but it sure as hell looked like Bork Lobster had been eating more pork and lobster than usual this year. The fact that the Beast, completely gassed out halfway through this opening stranglehold he had on the match really isn't helping his case here. This is the seasoned athlete, the athlete of WWE, who once put on the single greatest wrestling match in SmackDown history against Kurt Angle, an Iron Man match for an entire pissing hour. Now he can hardly push his way through 15 minutes of short power bursts without turning full tomato? No, that's not great form. Now, please, no one ever show this video to Brock Lesnar, because I enjoy this little thing we call living.
He's gonna do it. He's got the Beast off his feet. Big ending to Lesnar.
And those are 5 extra 5 more. Little bonus video for you. Body transformations in the old WWE. 5 of them are at least. Can't forget AEW. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications. Like that.